here is the immigration rally that was in Escondido. And I know we've had some of these in Poway, on Poway Road, and I haven't driven by it, in Poway, but I did drive past the one of the ones in Escondido, and it was a week ago Sunday. So that was probably 9, 10 days ago. And my mom lives in Escondido. So my wife and I were out there visiting my mom, and we're on our way home, and we're at the intersection of, where Highway 78 freeway kind of ends. I think that's Broadway. And there's like a big Toyota dealership there, and a shopping center. And it was right there at that intersection. And there were masses of people. And there were people on all 4 street corners. And that's a huge intersection because it's like a freeway exit. There are 4 corners there. And there were tons of people there. Young people, moms and dads, old people, Hispanic people that weren't Hispanic, a variety of different races that were out there. And they were all, really against the new immigration policy of Donald Trump, the ICE raids, the deportation, all of this. And there were a lot of signs there that I thought were very interesting. And so I just want to offer some thoughts and some ideas and some comments on this. Now, first of all, I loved it. I mean, there's some things that I would do differently if I were in their shoes. But generally speaking, I loved what they were doing. I mean, they were out there, free speech. It's kind of like the all the Trump protesters that show up in Poway at Twin Peaks and Pomerado every Sunday. I like seeing them out there. Now, I'm not a Trump supporter. And a lot of the signs that they present out on that street corner, I strongly disagree with. But I love seeing them out there just because I like the whole idea of self-expression and of free speech. So on that level, when I saw all of these protesters out there, I liked that. I liked that they were actively engaged. And I know Escondido, I think, has had a history of being anti-immigrant. I think, it's been a little bit more of a right-wing city than other parts of San Diego County historically. And so there has been a lot of pro-Trump, pro-deportation messaging in Escondido. And there are a lot of Hispanic people that live there that are voicing themselves here as well. But there were lots of like friends and family. You could see everyone was out there. It was all a positive vibe. It was smiles, people honking horns. It was just generally a really good thing. Now, like, for example, like on the screen here, here's a photo of a young lady holding a sign that says, "America is built on the sweat and sacrifice of immigrants." And which, by the way, is true. It's also built on the sweat and sacrifice of others as well. But, generally speaking, most everybody here in America is an immigrant, whether they're from Central America or South America or Mexico, or my family is from Ireland. There are people here from Germany and Italy and Sweden. America was built by immigrants, and that's a good thing. It's something that part of our makeup, part of our values of America of being a nation of immigrants, in my opinion, is a good thing. It's interesting, though, how some people have come here, multi-generational Americans, and they just kind of conveniently forget that their ancestors came here during the Great Immigration Wave between the Civil War and World War I. That's when my family came here, and I imagine a lot of others as well. So you see, we saw a lot of people out there with signs that were like this, that were basically promoting immigration and the value of immigration, and saying, we're not all criminals. Like Donald Trump was saying that, they're rapists, they're murderers, they're thieves, they're coming out of mental institutions, and oh, by the way, some of them are okay. I mean, that's just a bunch of BS. There are some bad folks that are immigrating, but geez, there's bad folks that are traveling across state lines in America. Generally speaking, the people here that are coming to America are coming here for all the right reasons. They're coming here to better their life. They want economic opportunity. They want more freedom. They want to escape the violence, of the drug cartels in parts of South America and Central America. So there is a lot of virtuous, rational reasons for a lot of people to want to be here. And frankly, given the history of America, they know that this is a nation of immigrants, and they were promoting that from that perspective. And I thought that was great. But There was also a lot of, how should I say this? And this is the angle that I thought, I'm not saying they're wrong in what they were doing and how they were doing it, but I'm saying I would do it differently. And that is, you saw a lot of the protesters waving Mexican flags, and you can see here on the photo on screen, I believe those are Mexican flags that have been converted into headbands, I think. Um, there were a lot of people promoting Mexico. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if that's the right answer here. I don't know if you're really doing yourself any favors. And granted, I get it. You're upset with MAGA. You're upset with Trump. And you want to, and the MAGA guys and Trump guys are the ones waving the American flag, which, by the way, I've often called them out, like the MAGA supporters here in Poway waving the American flag, chanting freedom, and then on the other side saying, build a wall, or don't let a woman make choices about her own body. I mean, MAGA is generally freedom for me, but not for thee. But I just thought they were doing themselves a disservice by embracing the Mexican flag. Not that I have a problem with Mexico. Not that I have a problem with their freedom to wave whatever flag they want. But they're here in America. They want to be in America. They came to America, or their ancestors came to America for rational reasons. They're here because they want to be part of America. Now, obviously, they have maybe a Latin identity. Maybe they have a South American, a Central American identity. I get that. I mean, I have an Irish identity that goes way back. It's kind of an interesting tidbit about my history and my makeup, but it's not my primary defining piece of my identity. Here, I think if they were to use the American flag rather than the Mexican flag, they could essentially punch the MAGA people in the nose with their own message. Because the American flag, what does it represent? We hold these truths that are self-evident, that all men are created equal with inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what these immigrants are doing. They want to have a right to their own life. They don't want to be, they don't want to be the target of drug cartels. They don't want to be the target of ICE. They don't want to be the target of a police state. If they're coming here peacefully to raise their family and work and earn a living and live a good life, they should have the freedom to do it, just like my ancestors did, just like all the rest of the citizens that are here in America. So I think if they were waving the American flag and they say, we actually stand up for what the identity of America is about, I think that message would be very powerful. And it would also show a willingness to try to want to assimilate into American society. And what I mean by that is assimilate based on the values of America. That we have freedom. That's what America's about, is that we have the freedom to live our lives on our own terms, as long as we're not harming other people or violating the rights of other people. That's a core American ideal that I think, frankly, people on the right wing and the left wing have completely lost sight of. In both groups, they're scapegoating this group or scapegoating that group. It's freedom for me, but not for thee. You have a freedom to your own body, but not in this case with abortion, and not in that case with vaccines. And there's a lot of distortion, a lot of crazy talk out there. But the whole idea of these immigration rallies, I think, would have a lot more power if they were waving an American flag and embracing the values of America, because that's why they're here. They want to be a part of the American society. What do you think? By waving a Mexican flag, is that saying, hey, what about us? Or is that really saying we're separate? We're a different group? Or would waving the American flag represent that you want to be an American? Or do you think people would confuse you with MAGA? I don't know. Again, protesters should speak the way they want. It's free speech. But I think there's a better way to do it. And that's my thought on that. We as multi-generational Americans, we should be encouraging immigrants to come here and assimilate into society, to work, get a job, raise your family, just like our ancestors did, our great grandparents and great great grandparents, wherever they came from. I mean, if people are doing that, and they're supporting themselves, they're all part of the melting pot of America. And by the way, we have a labor shortage. We need workers. Deporting workers is foolish. I mean, we need, and not all illegal immigrants are working in strawberry fields or building houses. I mean, illegal immigrants are pervasive throughout society. And that's good. We just need to find a way just to make them legal. So, give these people a green card, make it easy to be a legal immigrant. Now, a citizen is a whole other thing. I mean, that's where you got to pass a test and you got to be in America for a certain period of time. And then that's when you get to vote. You're in the privilege of voting. And, being a citizen, we can raise the standard on that if we choose. In a lot of ways, I don't know if that's really that big of a deal, but if we need to have a higher threshold for citizenship, I'm good with that. But immigration and getting a green card and having the legal right to work in America should be easy in the land of the free and the home of the brave. So again, my recommendation to these protesters, the ones that are protesting ICE, hey man, I'm with you. Morally, I am with you. I think your message would be more impactful by embracing American values and waving American flags and talking about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And on the other hand, those MAGA supporters that are out there waving American flags, I think you guys need to have a come to Jesus meeting and really ask yourself, when you say you're for freedom, what do you really mean? Because I see a lot of cases where you want to deport people and violate their freedom. So I think a lot of these people need to really ask themselves these questions. This is why I have so much trouble with Republicans and Democrats. This is why I'm independent. I support the whole notion of individual rights, that your life is yours to live. But there's just so many people in America that don't think that think that, well, okay, that's sort of true, but really these people don't really have a right to live their life. They need to be deported. Or these people don't really have a right to their own body. We need the government to manage that. Or, telling people what to do and how to live, even when they want to live a peaceful life. We have too much of that, too much of this authoritarianism that's dictating to people what to do and how to behave, when people should be free to live the way they want to live, as long as they're not harming anyone else. So what do you think? I want to go to one of the rallies, or at least drive by one of the rallies in Poway. I know they've been on, I think, Community Road and Poway Road, right by the Brigantine, I think is where I've been seeing this. And it strikes me that the organizers of these are likely similar to the organizers of the ones in Escondido, because I've seen some of the posts in social media and I'm seeing the red, white, and green of the Mexican flag in a lot of their artwork. My suspicion is that we're going to see a lot of Mexican flags. And again, I'm not going to tell you you're doing it wrong. I'm just telling you there's a better way to do it. But I'm with you on the message and I'm with you on what you're trying to accomplish. Okay.